Happy homecoming. I'm Keisha Williams, the Director of Marketing and Communications for the School of Business, and we have an exciting treat for you all this afternoon. Our wonderful hospitality and tourism instructor, Chef Snow, is going to be preparing a culinary delight for you as we prepare for this Saturday's homecoming game. So with that, please welcome Chef Harry Snow.
Thank you. Happy homecoming and welcome to the Darden Lab. Today, I'm going to contribute to your tailgate party to kind of help you out. Now, when I was about this, I was trying to figure out what could it make. Can we do chili? Can we do buffalo? So some type of chicken. We do a bit of a twist. I decided that we're going to do barbecue short ribs. And now I know, I can hear you saying right now, you're thinking short ribs for a tailgate. Because short ribs are usually those long one-piece bone with a big piece of meat wrapped around it that we save for Sunday dinner that takes 2 to 3 hours to cook. But today I'm going to give you a trick. I'm going to show you how to make short ribs. Easy way, and they're tender. These are going to be barbecue Korean short ribs. That's what we're doing for you today. The trick to all this is in the cut of the short rib. Like I said before, the short rib usually is about this long, let's say about 4 or 5 inches, meat wrapped around it. Takes a few hours to cook. You usually keep it for Sunday dinner. But what you don't know is actually, if you take the short rib, instead of cutting it between the bone, and they cut it across the bone, you get what is called a flanken cut short rib. And this is what you have. You have a short rib that is going across. You have multiple bones, usually about 3 to 4 bones, going across. It's thin, and when it's cut like this, it naturally tenderizes, so it's easy to eat. It's chewable. It only takes 7 to 8 minutes on your grill to get it done. How simple is that, right? All right. So what we're going to do for these short ribs is we're going to have to marinate, or a couple of nice marinade to go into them, let them soak. You want this to marinate for a minimum about 2 hours. You can let it go overnight. That'll be great. You can do that as well. We're going to make a marinade. We're going to start the marinade. That's the fun. So to this mixture, we're going to add 1 cup of soy sauce. I'm using a light, low sodium soy sauce. We're going to add a diced small white onion. We're going to add about a ½ tablespoon of sesame oil. We took about a piece of ginger. We cut about an inch piece, peeled it, and then sliced it up. That's going in as well. We got 5 cloves of garlic going in. We got 1/4 of a cup of packed light brown sugar going in. ½ cup of water. And then 1 key ingredient. This is a Fuji apple. Traditionally, when you make kind of a Korean barbecue or a bulgogi, they use Asian pear. Asian pears can be found in the grocery store. They're usually that pear that's in that cute little net or mesh bag to keep them from bruising. But if you can't find them, you can use a Fuji apple. I've seen people use kiwi. I've seen people use pineapple. What it's doing is we're looking for the enzymes in these particular fruits that help tenderize the meat even more to make it nice and tender and retain its juiciness for you. So we're going to add a Fuji apple. And I chose Fuji because this is readily available and easy to make it nice and simple. We get that in. I'll put our lid on. We're going to let it roll. We want this to go for about 15 to 30 seconds until it's nice and smooth. If it has a few little chunky pieces, it's totally fine. It's not the end of the world, but you want to get it as smooth as possible. So we're going to let it go for another few more seconds. All right. Then we're going to take our marinade. We'll come over here to our short ribs that we have sitting here. We're going to pour some marinade on. And here's a little trick for you. You can take this marinade, strain it, and then put it in a pot and bring it to a simmer. Heat it up, cook it down a little bit, let the sugars kind of caramelize in the marinade, and you can use it as a dipping sauce afterwards. All right? So we get that all mixed together. Now remember, these are what we call flank and cut. Flank and cut. You can go to your butcher and ask for it. I'm gonna be a secret. I got these from BJ's. Went to the butcher, asked them do they have any flank and cut short ribs, and they had some. I've been to Harris Teeter and got some. So usually someone that has a good butcher will know to get you some flank and cut short ribs, right? So these will get rubbed and marinated. Now again, these are gonna go in the refrigerator covered for about 2 hours up to 24 hours. So the longer it goes, the more you get the marinade to kind of penetrate through and work. Another trick you can do is actually, instead of doing this on a pan or on a cookie or on a casserole dish, you can put it in a Ziploc bag and move it around there, get there, seal it up, put it in the refrigerator. Easy to clean, you're done with it, you just toss it away, no washing of pans, right? Just another way you can do it. All right, so these are gonna marinate for a couple hours, up to 24 hours again. But by the magic of television, I already have some that have been sitting for a few hours, marinating. All right. So from here, you got these marinated. You did this the night before you head out to your tailgate. You're gonna take these out of the refrigerator. You wanna let them kind of come to room temperature, at least about 15, 20 minutes. You never wanna grill your meats when they're cold, fresh out of the refrigerator. What happens is, when you take these fresh out of the fridge and you drop them on a hot grill, the muscles are all in the meat are already contracted. And when you hit them with heat, they're gonna contract even more. And just think about it like a sponge. If a sponge is full with water, and you squeeze it just a little bit, some of the water's gonna come out. Then you squeeze it more, even more of the water's gonna come out. So if you let these rest and come to room temperature, say about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and let it come warm up, the muscles are going to relax and they won't contract as far and retain moisture and tenderness in your meat. You can do that with steaks, you can do that with pork, you can do that with beef, right? So these, we're going to take these to the grill. You're going to get your grill hot, you're going to get it rocket hot. It's going to be great over a charcoal grill. If you have it, if you don't have charcoal, use some gas, that's just as good as well. But that charcoal is going to give it just another added layer of flavor with that smoke, right? So we're going to head over to the grill. Once you pull these out of the refrigerator, you're gonna want to wipe some of the marinade off. All right, you don't want to put too much of marinade on the grill. That's what causes flames. So you take some of the marinade off that already pre-wiped these already, and then it's gonna go around the hot grill. Right? So they're gonna go about 3 to 4 minutes per side. I recommend you take it to about medium temperature, internal temperature, or medium doneness. You can take it well done just fine. I just prefer medium. That's just me. But to be on the safe side, because your feet probably feed a crowd of people, well done is the way to go. But just be careful, it's just in the well done, so you don't lose too much moisture. All right. Now, what are we going to add to this? You got to have a side to go with. You can't just have short ribs, right? We're going to have something else. We're going to do a Napa cabbage and bok choy slaw to go with it. Let me show you how we're going to make that. All right. So we're going to make a nice slaw, an accompaniment to go with this. And then when we're all done, I'm going to give you 3 different ways that you can present this to your guests. All right. We're going to start with Napa cabbage. We're just going to shred this up. Here's the bowl. In this bowl already, I have already shredded carrot. You can buy shredded carrot. You can be a hero and shred it yourself. Doesn't matter. I bought a pre-shred because you know what? You crunch for time on that day, right? So you're going to have shredded carrot. This is about a cup and a half of shredded carrot. We're taking up roughly around 7 or 8 leaves of napa cabbage, and we're just going to thinly slice it up. Take it down near close to the end. We're going to stop there to keep some of the root. We're not going to use a lot of that root. We'll use some of the tender leaves, a little bit of the white to make sure we have added crunch. Okay, box it as well. A little bit of the white to give extra crunch, but not all of it. We'll add it to our carrots. All right. To this, we're going to take seedless cucumber. You can buy seedless, you can buy a regular cucumber and take the seeds out yourself, either which way. We're going to dice this up. We'll cut long strips into it like so. And then we just dice it. That's going to get added in. Right. We have that. We'll mix this up. Add just a little bit more cucumber. We like that kind of sweetness of cucumber. We do thin slices, and then we dice it up. That goes in. Right? That's the foundation of your slaw. Now we need a vinaigrette. Let's talk about that. All right. I'm going to use a food processor for this. If you don't have a blender. If you don't have a blender or a food processor, it's not the end of the world. You can whisk this by hand, build up those forearms and the biceps. But I'm going to use modern technology. This one. So what we have, we're going to carry some of the flavors from the short ribs to the salad dressing. We turn these ribs. All right, go back over. So we're going to have rice wine vinegar. We're going to have about a tablespoon of honey. About a tablespoon of soy sauce. We're going to have 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. We'll have a little bit of chili flake for heat. We'll add a couple pieces, about a 1/4 inch of ginger. And then we'll go ahead and add our oil in there. Which one? When it's all together. We're not going to pour it in and drizzle like an emulsifier. We're just going to throw everything into the party. Oops, forgot one thing. And a pinch of salt. Grab that.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, I'm listening.
Can you use this marinade for other meats like chicken?
It can be used. I recommend something strong like pork. Pork This is a little bit robust. So I would, if you're going to use something like chicken, I wouldn't marinate it for only maybe for a couple hours, not overnight. Pork can go overnight. Beef can go overnight. Chicken will only go for a couple hours because it's a little bit strong. It's got soy sauce in it. You don't want it to make the chicken kind of salty, right? That's a pinch of salt. I'm gonna put this in and let it roll. I'm gonna grab our short ribs for that pork. All right. We got our marinade, we got our dressing. Smells great. You can always taste it to see if you want to add more salt, maybe a little pepper. If it's too acidic, meaning that the sherry vinegar is too strong, you can always cut it with a little bit more honey. The honey will balance out the vinegar. If it's too sweet, you can cut it with a little more rice vinegar. That will balance out the sweetness. So you can kind of play back and forth with it. I always say you can always add, but you can't take out. So go ahead and make it, taste it, add a little bit at a time to get to where you want. Otherwise, you'll be playing this game of vinegar, honey, until you get it right. Yes.
If you're allergic to honey, could you substitute
Maple syrup, agave can work too. You can even put this real sugar in it. The problem is the real sugar doesn't always dissolve. So we're using a kind of what we call a liquid sugar that can easily dissolve into the dressing. But you can use any type of sweetener of your choice. I just chose honey for this particular one. All right, so we're going to take the slaw, add our dressing. Mix it up. Slaw. Done. I highly recommend you make this in advance. At minimal, give it a few hours so the dressing can penetrate and get in and kind of really season and flavor it. I wouldn't go more over. But if than a few hours, because the longer it sits on there, the more it's going to break down the legs. I like my little crunchy, so I let my slaw sit about an hour or two just to give it time. Okay? In the refrigerator. All right. So now we have our slaw. We have our meat. Here's our meat. Nice and grilled, nice and charred, really good. You want to be careful to make sure you're turning and flipping because there is a little bit of sugar in the marinade. The sugar will caramelize and cause it to stick to the grill. So just make sure that your grill is ready. All right. So what can we do with this? There are many things we can do with this. So now that we have our short ribs, now that we have our slaw, we have options. Remember in the beginning, I talked to you about the different options that you have. Option number one, you can take these short ribs, you can cut them in half, and then layer them on a platter, right? Individual pieces. You do it that way. What else could you do? You can take your short rib, you can cut it off the bone, and this you can do in advance. You can cut it off the bone. You can then chop it up. And then you can take your slaw and make lettuce wraps with it. Get a big piece of lettuce, take the meat, they can have lettuce wraps. What else can you do with it? You can take this meat, start all over again. You can take it off the bone, chop it up, buy a flour or corn taco shells, and have like a bulgogi or a short rib taco using a slaw on top of that. So you have 3 different things you can do for your tailgates, but usually needs just 2 separate recipes. So it's your choice of which way you would want to go with it. Do you want to serve tacos? Do you want to serve lettuce wraps? Do you just want to serve as finger food and a side to go with it? You have multiple ideas, multiple options to go with. But what you have a good sweet, as you can see, I cooked it to about medium, which I kind of enjoy. I know some people don't, but that's me. You have your tangy slaw, so you have a crunchy slaw that's kind of sweet and spicy, got the chili flakes in it. You're gonna have a very tender, kind of sweet and tangy bulgogi or Korean style short rib, kind of marrying each other. You got 2 textures, you got crunchy, you got tender, you got a wealth of culinary and gastronomic stuff happening going on. So you can do anything you want with this and add this to your tailgate celebration. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try. But you know what else I have for you? You thought I was done. I know you thought I was done. What I have for you is actually the marinade cooked down. I strained it, cooked it down, reduced it down. It got a little thick because of the sugar that it into it. So you could use this as for your lettuce, the sauce for your lettuce wraps. It can be the sauce for your tacos, or it could just be poured over top, or be a dipping sauce for the meat. If you want to do a little dipping sauce on the side. So you have multiple ways to go through this. And I hope you give these recipes a try. I hope that if you do, you let us know here at the Darden Culinary Lab how it goes. Let me know if you have any more questions. Do you have other questions? Do people have questions?
What would be the normal plate presentation?
No plate presentation? That's fine. Let me slide this out of the way. Let me get a new board real fast. Give me a second. I'm gonna move this out the way. I'm gonna pretend this cutting board is the plate, and I'll give you a plate presentation. So what I would do, I'll take some of the slaw. So you get a good mix in there. I put that right on the plate. You can even do this, now you got me thinking, you can do this at a party and make a board, make like a board with this on there. You have that. Take your meat. Take a couple pieces of this nice bulgogi right here, it's Korean barbecue, put that on there. We sliced it up. We're gonna stack it right on there. We're gonna finish it with the barbecue sauce. Right? And you can present it to your guests. Your plate presentation like that. If you want to be nice and take it off the bone and cut, that's great. If you want to leave on the bones, it can be like a little finger food. That's just as fine as well. Your choice. There's no really wrong way to do it. This time, this is where the art and culinary art comes in at. So you can take it any which way kind of direction you want. I have a more of a stacking approach, what we call it a center plate, but that's the way you can do it. Got anybody other questions? Ask me anything you like about the ingredients, about what we use, where you get some of these items from. Yeah, I will work up the recipe for this. Actually, I do have it. I'll give it to Keisha and she can put it on social media so you can have it. We'll take a picture of this on the board and post it next to it as well. Right? And you'll have that too. Reginald Terry. How did I know you'd be in here? How did I know? That's a name from the past. Old great student of mine, for y'all who are wondering. Great student of mine who's doing wonderful things now in his career. He graduated from this program. Any other questions? You good? I like to say a couple things in closing. Don't be afraid to try the recipe. There may be some things that are interesting here that you maybe never seen before, but get out there and give it a try. Let me know if you try it. If you run into something like what is a good substitute for a particular ingredient, you can let me know. Like the mirin that we use, that's a Japanese sake. It's a sweetened sake. You can find that at your local grocer in the international food aisle. They have it in there. It's what I pick up from all the time. So it's not hard to find. It's called mirin. Easy to use. It's great in other marinades as well. Somebody asked for about other things it's marinade used for. Pork and beef are number one. It can be used for chicken as well. I wouldn't marinate too long with chicken, maybe a couple hours at best, because you don't want to get too overpowering. Take the marinade, strain it, put it in the pot, cook it down, reduce it probably about half or 50%. That will thicken it up some. You can use that as a glaze. Not this she's 82 today and she's on her way to Vegas. So she's not in here. She's going to go celebrate. That's the woman she is. Love her to death. So happy birthday, Mom. I hope you enjoy your day.